Hello, everybody. Welcome back to this show. Today we have Mr. Ankit Rastogi, who's a partner at Mason and Associates, a leading IPR law firm founded way back in 2006. And he's very readily agreed to be a part of this show today. And just to give you a brief introduction, if you don't already know him, which is not possible, he's quite there on LinkedIn for all of us. So he has been associated with law firms like Sagar Chandra and Associates. He comes highly recommended with lists such as Legal 500, Benchmark Litigation, IBLJ. You name any list, and he's on that list essentially. He's an alumnus of Amity Law School and IP University for both his undergrad and LLM. And he's not just that, he's a gold medalist literally in his LLM. So we can really rely on him for all the skill set conversation that is out here today. So, sir, thank you so much once again. And we have so many people in our audience from Amity Law School, so I'm sure they'll all be bothering you after this, and you will be bombarded with questions on this. But thank you so much for being here on this session.
Thank you, Archana, for having me. Thank you.
Sure, sir. So I think we'll directly deep dive into the questions now.
Yes,
Primarily, since this session is based on IPR as a career, a lot of the times people have this doubt that since AI is underway and IP prosecution opposition is largely a very linear skill set and very little scope for interpretation as well. So, at any point, do you think that it can get replaced with AI, and would it affect the job market in the coming, let's say, 5 years from now?
I think it would. To be really honest, Archana, I think it would affect the job market. While oppositions and as you said can be linear also, because you can have limited drafts with limited grounds and citing just provisions, and you can file a 3 page and then that can be an opposition, right? But to be really honest, even an opposition requires some sort of brain work on the grounds that you pull. I mean, a lot of law firms deep dive even in opposition proceedings to ensure that all the grounds are met. But to get back to the question on whether AI will affect the job market, the answer is yes. Because okay, let's just put it like this: that let's say there is a full scale law firm, and they have a limited IP department, let's say two lawyers, and the IP department is also given the task of oppositions or rectifications. And let's say those two lawyers don't have that enough time. Ideally, in the present scenario, you'll hire a third lawyer, but let's say the opposition is already made for one of the trademarks, for one of the brands, right? And then you just have to put in limited details on the AI prompt, right? So the AI will draft a similar opposition in like 15-20 minutes, for which a normal lawyer will probably take an hour. So it does save time. I'll not comment on the accuracy, but for what I've heard for emails and other stuff, it works really well and it's catching up. So I really think for opposition basis or for rectification, AI will definitely affect the job market. But I don't think in a law firm which would be very diligent, meticulous, a law firm which will think that an opposition has to be treated on par with a suit in terms of the amount of skill invested on it, in terms of the grounds that are to be taken. I think for those firms they will still hire a specialized trademark attorney. But for firms which probably are at lower level, or a second tier, third tier, or IP boutique firms which have a limited capacity of hiring, they will should I mean, I don't know, will, should, or what, but they'll ideally go to AI platforms. I
Right.
completely think so. 5 years is too much. You're thinking into the future. I think it's two and a half, not more.
Okay, it's that urgent. Okay, so sir,
Yeah,
on
yeah, yeah.
that, just to like lead on to that question itself. So, do you think law firms have already started using any tools for it? If yes, I mean, without commenting obviously on your own law firm or any others, just generally, are there any tools that have already come in place for it? And people should like start digressing only from prosecution opposition to litigation, IP transactions, IP due diligences, essentially.
No, I won't name either the law firm or the tool, but what I've heard is from a lot of my colleagues, my associates, that if you give the relevant prompt, it gives you a draft which you still have to spend 15-20 minutes, whether it is factually correct and covers all the legal grounds. But what it essentially saves you is on the speed of typing, and essentially saves you on the speed of probably a drafting skill set of how to do a draft. For example, let's say I'm a trademark lawyer, I want to file an opposition, and I want to say that the defendant's action is malified, which can be evident from the fact that the logos are also same, the defendant's mark is deceptively similar. So that platform really saves a lot of time. One third of the time is utilized, which would normally take an hour, is gets done in 15-20 minutes. So it is being used. I'll not name the AI platform, or I'll not name the team, but definitely it is being used.
Okay, that's a very, very needed perspective because right now we were just operating on rumors, and the fact that it comes from a partner at your stature, it actually has a lot of perspective for people. So I'm glad, you've given this honest opinion on this. Now moving further to the second question, which is also a very big complaint by IPR enthusiasts, that why are we getting lesser salaries? Like again, without naming law firms, there are few law firms who would pay, let's say, up to 20 lakhs, 22 lakhs to a fresher for a corporate role, but they would go on to paying as low as 5 lakhs, 6 lakhs to an IP fresher. Why is that disparity happening? Both of them are spending 15 hours in the office on a daily basis. Yes.
I have not really personally seen that disparity. You've been in the mentor industry for quite some time, I believe, and you mentor law students and fresh graduates, so you would know that better. uh, because you've asked me this question, I've also known it for the first time. But let's say there is a TL1 law firm. Let's take an example, and in a corporate M&A or other structures, they're giving 20-22 lakhs, and for IP they're probably giving 5 to 6 lakhs. Let's say this is the reality. I don't know whether it is or not. The reason could be, it could be a firm which would have an expertise in M&A and only a department in IP. Could be, I don't know. Second, for M&A, their team would be charging an X amount of money, which would be higher because they have an expertise, they have a name in M&A. And for IP, because they have to say they're a full service law firm, they have an IP department in which there are probably lesser associates. The work is also not much compared to an IP boutique firm. Let's say if there is an IP boutique firm of 5 lawyers, and you have a team here of 2 lawyers, and you have lesser billing than, obviously you'll have a lesser billing because they're sustaining 5 people. So obviously the salaries would be less because the billing is less. People are coming them for M&A, people are coming them for, let's say, infrastructure, real estate, and from those 10 clients they're able to take 3 clients for IP, right? Considering they also don't have an probably a huge expertise in IP, right? They will not charge rates which are actually as per market standards. They may be charging low rates. For example, if you go to a
Fair.
known IP law firm which is really well known, why would they charge rates which is at the market level? They will obviously charge a premium for their services, right? But a
Definitely.
firm which is gaining or has does not have name may probably charge less, and when it's charging less, it's billing less, and when it's billing less, it's paying less. That's what I
Fair
think
enough.
is happening.
Fair enough. So, which means, would you like to also say this in a manner that if one comes to a boutique law firm which very specifically does IPR and is,
Right.
let's say, well renowned in the field of IPR, 15, 20, 30 years of experience in IPR, they would be willing to give a lot higher salaries as compared to even, let's say, full service law firms who do not have a specific IP practice at this point.
See, Ashna, this is a game of economics, in my opinion.
Okay.
There are law firms which are IP heavy,
Hmm.
boutique law firms, for 30 years, 40 years,
Hmm.
and I know that they don't pay well.
Exactly. Yes.
There are.
Yes.
So the criteria can't be IP heavy, 5 to 7 people doing it for 30-40 years, right? So there are people who've been in the IP industry for 30-40 years, but they don't have probably that much kind of billing, or probably they come from that attitude because they're 40 years old, that this is the
The
highest threshold that we can
traditionalist,
pay.
yeah, way of thinking.
Traditionalists. So I'll not comment on it, but I know one thing for sure, that it's a field that will grow.
Okay.
And if you have your foot in the door, if you know your subject, if you have street smartness, there is nothing stopping you in the field to grow, to be really honest. But
Okay.
if you'll compare yourself to, let's say, a lawyer who's done M&A, who's doing transactional, or who's doing certain big ticket matters, obviously those big ticket matters require a certain level of expertise, and obviously they have a higher pay. And see, okay, you can also compare it to, let's go a slightly traditional.
Hmm.
There is a criminal lawyer,
Hmm.
right? And he's
Right.
a very good criminal lawyer, and he's asked to appear in across Delhi High Courts whenever there is an urgent bail requirement, and he's always ready. And he
Right.
gets around three matters in a day, and he makes 2 lakhs for every matter, right? His name is there, right? So he's making money in criminal law,
Hmm.
correct? And he's making good money in criminal law. Now, why I gave that example is because there, while it's a field which is traditional, while it's a field which has a lot of people working in it, still if you can make your name, you'll make money. Don't, obviously, as mentors, obviously as students or as freshers, you don't start your own law firm, and it is not easy for you to make your name. Then you are first generation, you have less contacts, all of this is understood. But my perspective that I'm trying to bring in is that uh, there it is not impossible in intellectual property, especially in Delhi,
Hmm.
to or even in Bombay,
Hmm.
if you to gain a name, to get a foot in the door, and then make money. But obviously there are people, 5 out of 100 people are able to pull that off.
Right. So you would essentially conclude this question by saying that this is a growing field. So people shouldn't simply get discouraged by comparing themselves to other conventional practice areas where the billing is higher and everything. Simply on the idea
See,
keep a salary come so we'll just not go into this practice area. It may
see,
increase at some point also.
it will increase. Definitely, it
Hmm.
will increase. The number of filings of trademark filings in India is third in the world,
Right.
right? It's currently
Right.
third in the world. I read an article yesterday.
Hmm.
But my perspective is, see, sometimes your chosen field of practice is also a passion project
Yes.
rather than an economics project. So, if you are looking at making money, yes, still corporate compliances, company law, mergers and acquisition, all of that is lucrative without a doubt. IP, generally, who've done IP are people who have loved IP.
That's
Even if you find the
exceptionally
best of,
correct. Yes. Yes. Huh.
I mean, in M&A, you might not find people, oh wow, this is my
Yeah, I
love,
never heard
first love.
anyone
No,
think, "Oh, I love M&A transaction," but IP, they're like, "I'm very like into IP." Yes, huh,
correct.
huh.
So the people who have practiced, succeeded, and are working tirelessly for 10, 15 years in one single domain is because of the love of the subject.
Yes.
Yes, a lot of people have really done very well. Some of the IP lawyers who've just practiced IP have also become senior advocates this year. So obviously, it's a growing field. There is a demand. The trademark filings are increasing. The filings at the district courts in Delhi and high courts are also increasing. But again, as I say, there are lots of ifs and buts. Which office do you join? How is their practice area? Are they prosecution heavy? Are they litigation heavy? What is the band? See, for example, there may be law firms which have partners for 10 years, and they may be giving them a ceiling of an X amount of money,
Hmm.
right? Now
Right.
you may join that firm, but because there is someone, you can't expect to get over it because there's someone already on a ceiling.
Right.
So there are a lot of factors involved. I can, on a general and on a more bird's eye view, I can only say it's a growing field. It's a field that if you invest yourself in it deeply, there are a
Hmm.
lot of opportunities. If you love intellectual property, you will succeed. Obviously, the factors of common sense, diligence, and hard work cannot be ignored.
Right, right. All right, that's phenomenal. Moving on to a very popular question. Somehow I didn't anticipate it, but today morning when I asked my audience, ki, okay, what questions I'm talking to a partner today, they were all like, okay, please ask them that at what point do we become a partner? At what point can we start our own IPR law firm? And some went on to the extent of even saying that can we start our own law firm in like 2 years itself of entering into the industry? So if you can like really throw some light on that, that will be very, very helpful. Yes.
Yes, I can. I really can. But again, I'll still say your background matters, your
Okay.
financial capability
Yes.
matters,
Yes.
whether you are a first generation, second generation matters, whether you have a house in Delhi or you are in a rented accommodation matters. Keeping these four things in mind, I have seen law firm partners starting their own law firm in 5 years. I've seen that.
Phenomenal. Okay. Okay.
Yes, I have seen people. starting their practice in 20-25 years also. They're opening their own law firm segregated.
After, okay.
Yes. For example, I'll take myself as an example. I have been in the bar for 14 years. I have not started my own practice. Right.
Okay.
There might be some issues. Why not?
Hmm.
Maybe I'm comfortable. Maybe this is something, stability is there. That maybe
Sure.
hundreds of reasons. Right. But there is no right or wrong time to start your own IP practice. Number one. Number two, if you don't have to worry about the food on the table every day, the rent that you have to pay, it is easier to start. One more thing, IP law firm or IP independent practice is easier to start, in my opinion, than a criminal practice or a regulatory corporate M&A
Yes.
practice.
Any day. Yes.
Uh,
Yes. Huh.
yes. Uh, so yeah, that's easy. But for timeline, it depends upon every person's skill, their own appetite, their own connections, their financial background, all of these things. But I have worked with a partner who started it in 5 years. He was a first generation lawyer. He is doing very well for himself, and he was very good at what he did, and great knowledge across IP. I mean, whether trademarks, whether copyright, whether
Hmm.
patents. So, people, if you work hard and you don't have to worry about at least the basics in life, the roti kapda makan thing, I
Right.
think it is easier to start an IP law firm. 5 years, 6 years. Work with somebody who's heavily into IP, learn all the different
Hmm.
types of IP, learn prosecution, learn litigation. I think 5 to 6 years you can
So,
start.
like, when would you say, like, let's say if someone has 20 clients, 50 clients, 100 clients, can we
Five,
numerize it?
five,
5 clients. Okay.
five.
Okay.
Five regular paying
Huh.
clients is enough.
Okay. That's also a number. Okay, great. And also
See, why
about
in IP I say five?
hmm,
Because generally individuals are not are not IP savvy. In the
hmm,
sense, they you'll not find let's say a kirana store owner to have an intellectual property, right? It's generally the corporates, it's generally the firms, and that's why you require lesser clients to start.
that's also a fair enough reason. And sir, what about partner level? Like, at what stage do you become partner? Like, is it only the fact that you start bringing in business for the law firm, do they make you a partner, or there are other aspects, of course, barring the knowledge and your contribution and everything that is there, any which ways that has to be there. But apart from bringing business, is that the main criteria, or are there any other factors that law firms look at?
See, again, this is a law firm to law firm answer.
Hmm.
A lot of people don't make you partner until you get business.
Hmm. Right.
That's one.
Hmm.
A lot of people expect you to get business after you've become a partner,
That's also
right?
way. Yes. Yes.
Third is, we don't worry about the business. You become a partner, you're a salaried partner. We'll handle the business. So that is also there. I have
But
seen
then
three types
in
of.
this case, what is the contribution then? How is a principal associate different from, let's say, a partner, if any which ways they are not worried about, let's say, bringing in business?
Again, I said this is a firm to firm structure.
Hmm. Hmm.
The best person would be the managing partner of that firm who decides and takes that call. But how is a PA different from partner? Could be multiple things. PA might not be talking to the client. PA might not be going to the conferences and building business for the firm,
Sure. Hmm.
right?
So
See,
client facing
there,
responsibilities, yes. Hmm.
could be, but look at it like this: there is a partner who's not been given the responsibility to bring clients
Hmm.
as the next step for his or her growth, but
Okay.
he is given the responsibility to interact and grow the firm to the extent that he visits conferences, he has speaking opportunities,
Hmm.
he probably leads the firm in the court,
Hmm.
could be due to his knowledge and everything, court craft and everything. But his next raise doesn't depend on him bringing new work. Probably its managing partner thinks that I can only. So there are a lot of firms where the managing partners are not really going out there at the registry or at the court and just managing the firm, building
Hmm.
business, and
Okay.
the second tier is handling everything else.
Right. That's also a very interesting perspective because up until now everybody's like, okay, you bring business, you become the partner.
No,
But then
no, there are
obviously,
firms. There
hmm,
are firms who will appoint you as a partner
hmm,
only when you bring in business at some level, right?
hmm,
Otherwise, then you will be at the next position.
okay,
So it's then your call how to go about it, how to bring in business, because uh, there are firms which will say bring in business. We don't have to talk about numbers. You can bring two clients, but that is also enough.
yeah,
But there are some firms which say that we can only accommodate your CTC component if you meet this number of new business, or
fair
your
enough,
existing business which you bought 2 years ago gives us this number.
fair enough.
So you try doing it. Sometimes you're able to, sometimes you're not able to. Depends upon what
Got
clients there are.
Got it. Also, sir, now coming on to this thing, like what do law firms look for, while they're hiring candidates as well? Like, is it just simply that, okay, I've done like 5 internships, now I'm turning with the sixth one, I'll do an assessment and I'll get hired? Or what is it that law firms want in candidates? This is, I think, the major question that everybody is waiting for, that what is it that we should show it in terms of our CV, in terms of our skill, participation in the law firm, that we get hired while we are interning there, essentially.
See, I can't comment on, to be really honest, on every law firm or
Sure.
generality or
Yes.
specifics, because every law firm might have a different criteria.
Fair
Uh,
enough.
there is always an ongoing debate that law firms only hire from certain premier law colleges also.
Yes.
So that could be
That
one criteria.
discussion. Yes.
Yes. So if you're not from that institute or that place, then you might not be hired. Second, then lot of law firm partners see what internships you've done, right? What articles you've written, what additional courses have you done, what position of responsibilities have you taken, what you've written in your CV. Do you know that? What you've written and worked on your CV, if I ask you a question, do you have an answer? Now I'll tell you about me. What I look when I look at a CV, the first thing I notice is that there's no error in the CV. Number one, I don't like CVs which are going into third page. I maximum 2 pages of CVs. There should not be a typo or a justification error in the CV. Then I ask the candidate, when I look at the CV, I put in 3 to 5 pointers of work that they've done, and then I ask them, please explain me without naming the client as to what work you've done. And then when I understand the scope of the work they've done, then I ask them probably a question which is slightly tricky, in the sense of which requires some application of mind and not a direct answer, that if this happens then what happens,
Hmm.
this is the situation, what, or if it's basic, what is the legal position. Let's say there is a fresher who's giving me an interview on infringement and passing off, so I'll just ask them if there's there a difference between the two, and
Fair
why
enough.
do we need two remedies, why passing off can't just work at its
Right.
level. So yeah, but essentially every law firm has a very different way of operating. A lot of law firms ask you, do you have a problem with working late hours, right? Because
Right.
that's the nature, probably the nature of the
Hmm.
job, the structure
Hmm.
of the business they've created. See, the problem with litigation is you come from court at 4:30 and 5, and then you have to work for the another day. And it's not only the junior most people is working, the partner is working till 11, 12. But the generation that is coming now might not be comfortable in the traditional sense of working till 12ish and then again joining the office at 9, and that's, I mean, to each his own. But so they have this in mind, whether you would be comfortable in working at 11. Then a lot of people also ask, where is your house? So if you're living 2 hours, 1.5 hour, for example, I'm in Gurgaon and
Hmm.
you're coming
Hmm.
from Noida, so
Right.
the question will be, we'll have to, and we work late, comes a reason for not to hire someone. Could
Okay.
be. I mean,
Right.
so what lawful look, broadly, I've gone slightly beyond the topic, but what law firms looks like is actually a fit. To be really honest,
Right.
a
But
fit
sir,
with a lot of.
right. Right.
Sorry.
Sorry to cut you here, sir. Like, let's say you told me that I'm going to ask them, let's say these 5, 7 questions. But let's say there are already 10 interns. I obviously you don't have the time to go on and have this conversation with all the 10 interns. So Like, which candidates are you even picking for you to have this conversation and then finally giving them the offer? Let's say. Is it only someone who's in turn with you, let's say for 6 months? Not with you, just generally, let's say, what would be a partner thinking that, okay, if they work with us only like for 6 months, 7 months, or even if they are
No,
from a college where there's no 6 months, 7 months allowed, they may be just be interning with you only for a
no, I
month or
never
two.
look at the college, Ashna.
Hmm.
I don't look at college. I've never seen the college. What I essentially look is how is the CV. Does the CV gives me a semblance that the person knows bit of drafting, formatting, can
Okay.
frame his sentences, right? Then I ask questions which are common sense questions, like also slightly legal.
Hmm.
But again, Ashna, it also depends. My questions and my choice would depend on what the role I am having. If it's a
Hmm.
2 to 3 year role, then the budget that I am having.
Yeah.
Uh, for example, for a 2 to 3 year role, you might find people who are asking from 35 to 85,
Hmm.
right?
Very good.
And the
Yes.
85 guy might not fit in my budget, and the 35 guy may not be really good, so I
Hmm.
might look at someone at 50, 55 level. So that could be something that may happen. But coming to your question, how I choose a CV is essentially, if it's a fresher that I'm looking for, I would probably look at what he's done in his internships,
Hmm.
what articles or things he's written, whether they work with us. For example, a lot of people do this, that when there is an opening, they've not done IP much, probably one internship, and then the CV has all the words relating to IP. They curate the CV to show that intellectual property, this. But when you ask them a question, you realize that they've not done what's written. But what works for them is that I call them for
They get
an
the chance
interview.
to speak with you, right?
They get
Right.
the chance. If that's not in the CV, I don't call them. But see, the point is, I take a lot of interviews. To be really honest,
Hmm.
I look at a lot of CVs, and then I take almost all the interviews of the CVs that come to me, if
Fair
they are
enough.
fitting.
Hmm.
Because see, on the basis, let's say, even if there is an issue with the CV, right, or the covering letter, you still can take out 15 to 20 minutes to give someone a chance.
That's very
Interviews,
kind of
obviously.
you. Very kind of you to say that, you would give students a chance. Yes, yes.
The only problem that I face is that I get a lot of CVs even at the times when there are no vacancies.
Right.
I'm sorry, I am not able to respond to them, because at least 3 to 4 CVs come even when there are no
Yeah, like
vacancies.
daily, I'm sure you'll be getting some CVs. At some point, your
Yes,
email will have
yes,
some CVs. Yes.
yes. But essentially, what I'm looking for is somebody who, I don't expect people to stay in office for 11 hours or 12 hours till late in the
Hmm.
night. What my purpose is, you come in the office hours, you work very hard in those 9 hours, and you leave at 7, and after 7 you don't know it for another 12 hours.
Right,
The next
right,
day will start at 10. That's how
right.
I do it. So my
Hmm.
team efficiently works from 10 to 7. I only expect you to be diligent and good. Obviously, there are days in a
Hmm.
month where you have to work later,
Hmm.
but what I'm looking for, are you that sincere, number one? Do you have that common sense? If a legal proposition is thrown at you, will you think you will be able to do justice to it? Will Sometimes a legal proposition could be completely new, and you might have to find answers. You will not be, I mean, have problems with it. And just basic sense of drafting.
Right.
Basically, it's, yeah.
Right, sir. Right. That's very helpful. Sir, one last question, that how does one transition to media and entertainment law? Like, does IP itself become the base for it? Because it's usually understood that copyright is the bedrock for, let's say, media and related litigation. So, does one get
Okay.
into an IP law firm, start doing trademark, then copyright, and then get into media, or is there a simpler way to actually get into media and entertainment field?
No, obviously there is a simpler way. You work with organizations which are media and entertainment heavy, or you join as an in-house in a production or a company which is highly into media entertainment. But if, let's just take a hypothetical example, that somebody has joined an IP boutique
Hmm.
firm
Right.
or an IP department in a large firm which has a limited media and entertainment practice, and they eventually want to switch to media entertainment. So my suggestion is read, read, read. My suggestion is keep abreast yourself with latest legal developments. Follow relevant people on LinkedIn, relevant pages on LinkedIn. Understand what media entertainment requires. See, a lot of there is an definite overlap between media entertainment practice and IP, but there are other areas as well which are purely governed by contractual disputes. For example, let's say you want to do an actors agreement and
Hmm.
he's a performer, or you want to do a singers agreement, or you want to do a lyricist agreement, right?
Right.
Some of them may have rights which you want, some of them may not have rights and are just performing, or there's a remuneration. But apart from that, there are things as to when will the actor come, when will the payment be made, how many days of his time do you require, what happens if he is asked to work. So these are contractual issues. These
Hmm.
are not IP issues, but these are media entertainment issues which will come across every media entertainment lawyer, right? So my perspective is that you get yourself a stronghold in contract drafting.
Okay.
Understand contracts, even if you're in an IP office, right? Talk to your head on working on some assignment agreements in trademarks. When
Hmm.
you start working on assignment agreements in trademark, you'll get an idea of assignment. Then for similar clients, you can have a logo, you can work on the copyright agreement, so you'll get an idea of copyright.
Right.
uh, so you get some idea. When you
Hmm.
have copyright, then see what clients there are. Let's say there is your team has only FMCG clients, or let's say your team only has pharma clients. So highly unlikely that you will get any media entertainment work. But
Hmm.
let's say there is a book publisher also.
Right.
Let's say there is a guy who merchandises things,
Right. Hmm.
right? Right. So I don't know. I'm just giving it. For example,
Hmm.
if it's a book publisher, you can ask your boss, sir, if we can talk to this book publisher guy that if there is any agreement
Hmm.
from an author to the book publisher, we can draft it,
Right.
right? Once you get an idea of author publisher agreement,
Hmm.
see, author has written a fiction novel. Let's say there is Chetan Bhagat who's written a 5 point someone, and we are dealing with Rangoli Rupa, whosoever has published it, and you get an idea, right?
Hmm.
Now, probably, and then you start researching on what goes into an author publisher agreement, right?
Hmm. Hmm.
Now, somebody in a research on Google will throw, what about if there is a movie made on that book,
Hmm.
right? And then you'll read about that, then you'll work
Hmm.
on that. So you'll get
Hmm.
an idea of all of this. So when you're ready with that, then let's say Rupa owns the rights to 5 point someone,
Hmm.
right? Now, what is the next step? You ensure that they own the right. Now you have to ensure that they license the right when the movie is made. So
Right.
when you've done this part, you'll be able to do the second part,
Got it.
right? So
Right.
it's a right question.
Hmm.
IP to media entertainment. I also didn't do media entertainment much till I joined Neil Sir
Hmm.
2022. After that, I've done a lot of media and entertainment agreements. But how I went into, I had a comic book publisher as a client.
Okay. Hmm.
So from authors, we took all the derivative rights, right, to make a film. And then when there was any licensing issues, then we knew that we had the rights and how the license can be worked. But you have to have a thorough understanding of the Copyright Act, to be really
Right.
honest. Because
Right.
under Copyright Act, the problem is while the act says things in a particular manner, the industry says things in a different manner. For example, uh, right to incorporate a song in a movie,
Hmm.
right?
Right.
Now you from the act it would be a song in the film incorporated, but
Okay.
in the field it is called synchronization, right?
Okay. Okay.
You have to get that idea very clearly. So I
Got it.
think the solution is read
Right. Get updated with judgments and like otherwise read
and do
commentaries.
some courses, and whenever you get an opportunity then you can switch.
Fair enough, fair enough. So I think, sir, this was a very, very insightful interview. We've gotten answers and like really honest answers to some of the most pressing issues. So I hope this stirs some conversation around IPR laws again. Thank you so much. So do you have any parting words for anybody who's very enthusiastic about IP but is maybe, let's say, getting a little bit discouraged because of maybe, let's say, having that comparison or otherwise just generally any parting words for IPR enthusiasts?
Two parting words. I hope it only stirs a conversation. I don't think it should create any problems for me if I've been too honest.
Right, right,
That's
right,
one.
right.
Second is if somebody is enthusiastic. See, I joined IP because I loved copyright law. But
Okay,
for a large part of my career, I've done trademark law. Now I even love trademark law. All
okay.
right. So if you are enthusiastic about intellectual property, I will suggest practice in Delhi.
Hmm,
Join a good office which gives you an opportunity of both litigation and prosecution, and don't be scared. Don't be scared if your senior says go and argue a matter.
hmm,
Be hungry, keep
hmm.
asking for more work, keep ensure that you give that confidence to your senior that you can handle a matter from start till the end. He might not eventually give you work, but if you show that confidence and if you get results, he will give you work. And to be really honest, in the Delhi bar there is absolutely no threshold limit for what a person can achieve in intellectual property.
Right, sir. Right. Thank you so much. That was really great. With that said, I'll just end the conversation for today. And I hope a lot of students will not bombard you with questions. And if at all, they do it below this video or on LinkedIn itself, but not otherwise. But thank you so much, sir. It was a pleasure speaking with you today. Thank you. Thank you so
Thank you, Ashan. Thank you for your time.
much.
All the